Welcome back to another episode of our show. So last year I came up with a quote. A podcast is like a country club where you get to pick the members. And I got to tell you, once you meet this guy, you're going to want him in your club right away. Our guest on our show today is someone that I've had the privilege to become extremely close friends with the last 2 or 3 years. And really, when I was thinking about this show, he was the first one I wanted to have on. The purpose of this show is to share lessons. When I think about the lessons in my life, I feel like I've always had to earn my lessons the hard way. And the more I thought about it, that's where we all stand. We've all had to go through life earning our lessons the hard way. This is a lesson, and this is a show I know you won't want to miss. If you have kids who play sports, this is going to be the episode that you need to watch. If you ask almost any parent who has a son in sports, at some point in time, they've thought about what it would be like to have their son play quarterback. Very, very few kids understand what it takes to achieve that success at that position, and possibly even fewer parents understand the sacrifices it takes to put their sons in a position to achieve that success. Today we're going to get a glimpse of what it truly takes to raise a quarterback in Orange County. James, my buddy.
Chase, how we doing, my man?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good
for
to see you.
having me. Appreciate it. Yeah.
You can't jump into a workout without warming up, and you can't jump into a podcast without a little bit of a warm-up. So before we dive in, I'm going to give you a little warm-up questions.
Okay. Let's go.
What's your favorite tequila?
Right now it's Don Fulano.
Beautiful. Repo?
Repo. Definitely. I'm a Repo guy.
What's your favorite timepiece?
Rolex.
Rolex?
Yep.
What's your favorite golf course you've ever played?
Pebble Beach. It was awesome.
How long ago was that?
It was about this time last year.
Very cool. And what's your favorite place to travel that you haven't been yet?
Well, if I haven't been there, I'm not sure. I want to do Greece. I haven't been there.
Okay.
I've been all over Europe. I've been all over the United States, Canada, Mexico, and I have not been to Greece yet. I've been to Turkey. I've been to Thailand. I've been all over the place, but Greece seems to be a spot that has amazing hotels, pool plunge rooms inside of caves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I would really like to do that. I haven't had the opportunity yet.
Very cool.
Amazing.
Very cool. So I want to dive into some questions with you. Why don't you tell us about you, your journey as a father of an accomplished Division I bound athlete. Talk to us about Aiden. Talk to us about Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about both.
Well, I've got two amazing and beautiful children. Aiden, 17-year-old, going to be a junior starting. We're 10 days away from the first game. Tustin High School quarterback. He played his freshman year and his sophomore year as a quarterback. I have a 10-year-old daughter. She's done basketball, volleyball. Currently, the last couple seasons, she's done cheer, and she really likes cheer. So she's been doing that. She said, "Daddy, I don't want to do volleyball anymore. I don't want to do basketball. I want to do cheer." So we've been doing cheer lately, and that, I will tell you, is maybe a little bit more chaotic than being a quarterback dad.
Really?
But it's fun. It's exciting at all times, and it's never a dull moment.
Cool. So you and I have been friends for some time. You and I were talking about it before we rolled the cameras. I got an amazing opportunity to be asked by you, your beautiful wife, Amanda.
Thank you so much.
I got a chance to officiate your wedding.
It was amazing. You did such a good job. Everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Wow, where did you get him?" And I'm like, "That's his first one." You killed it. You knocked it out of the park. Great job. Thank you again.
I told you this on your wedding day. You guys gave me a gift. That was just such a special opportunity to be a part of your special day.
Mm-hmm.
But I give that backstory because you and I have had a chance to share tequila, and our daughters jump in the pool and hang out, and I know when we talk about Aiden, your son, as a high school quarterback, one of the biggest stories that keeps reoccurring is how much of an advocate you have to be for your kids.
1,000%. Yeah, you've got to be their biggest supporter, biggest fan. You got to know when to be a sounding board, know when to back off, know when to be there and just listen. And it's a relationship that's constantly recalibrating, always, changing.
I feel like one thing that you've always said to me is, there's multiple receivers, right? There's multiple linebackers. multiple linemen, and a lot of our conversation is going to be about football and specifically Aiden and your family. But when it comes to the quarterback position and being an advocate for your son, it's just different.
It's so different. It's you get to live, vicariously through him, but at the same time, no, it's not your life and the small club that he's kind of in, and the small club just being quarterback parent like that you're in as well. It's a little bit of a trip, but it's fun, and you want to stay humble. That's humble over hype, I think, is the biggest thing to always kind of remember. Like, it's something I like to keep him grounded too, because as a quarterback, I remember when I was growing up, I played football as tight end and defensive end, so I didn't have that type of, and I didn't have the limelight because I didn't have like national recruits or anything like that. But I was a national recruit. But yeah, it's a crazy situation. But staying grounded is definitely one of the biggest things that you want to do, for sure.
What was the first moment when you said to yourself when you were watching him play, "Whoa"? Like you knew he was. You've probably always know that he's good because you're his dad. But what was that one moment when you said, "Wow, like he could be great"?
There's been a couple different milestones, to be honest with you. Like you said, I've coached him since he was 4 years old. He's been throwing a football, and I'm a huge football fan. So it just kind of like he was just bred into it. Like he just became, And then my biggest thing was, I don't want to push him to the point to where he gets burnt out. That's a huge thing that I think a lot of parents need to know, because parents see themselves through their children's eyes, and they think that, I'm going to get them in all the right coaching. I'm going to get them to the right schools or like the athletic schools or whatever. And a lot of times they lose sight of, that they're their own individual and you are not them. And if they don't want it, then they're never going to be good at it, because if there's anything that you don't love, then you'll never give it your all. So that's something for him that, pushing him, and as a young kid, you've got to make sure they're involved in things and knowing the right time to kind of back off and let them take the reins. And, now he's, like I said, entering a junior season. He schedules all of his own quarterback training, all of his own workouts. He goes to the extra gyms. He does this agility training by himself. I'm not part of anything. All I do is I pay for it all. That's the only thing. I get the bill. Right. That's about it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, to go back to your original question, when he was 5, I seen the passion in his eyes, and I said, wow, this kid's a little bit special. And I was always teaching him, accuracy, and he was always honing in on it and asking me what he could do to be better. Yeah. And then, by the time he was in 7th grade, he was still really accurate, and he was a really good teammate, and kids just were drawn to him, and he's very likable, and so, and then, going into his freshman year, we started off with Mater Dei, and we were there for about a week or so before we transferred to Tustin. And I seen just all the different coaches and all the different people around there and around him that, just had a different vibe about him. And then as recently as, 3 months ago, we were at Purdue and we had this special workout. Okay. And that one really kind of caught my eye, because we've been to a lot of colleges. We've been with a lot of different college coaches, and I've seen his national recruitment and how he's been, kind of desired to be talked to or to create a relationship with. But at Purdue, they did a private workout with the GM and the coach, the quarterback coach, and we started in an indoor facility there, and it was a really kind of an eye-opening experience for me, because when I say he was on that day, I've watched him throw all the time. I love to watch him throw. I bet. And he does so good. This time was a little bit different because he keeps growing and maturing, and not just, from a football perspective, but, a young man in life as well. Yeah. But he was so on, and he was so crisp, and he put the ball on the spot. And we're talking from short slants to dig routes to, next thing you know, fade routes and just deep balls. And he's throwing 65 yards. And I mean, the kid's 17 throwing, 65-yard football. Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty athletic, and I could probably throw it 30 yards right now. And that's a big knock on my own, my own ego. But he was doing so well. I looked back and I was just like, whoa. Like afterwards, I was like, and he was like, Dad, what do you mean? You always see you throw
No,
it.
I saw you.
I go, that was different.
Yeah.
That was different. And I go,
Yeah.
all the coaches started crowding around you. Then the team got done with practice, and they were filtering in. All of a sudden, they were coming in
to watch.
To watch.
Really?
And afterward, they're like, "Great job, Aiden." And I was like, "How do these college kids know who you are?" And he's like, I don't know, but like, and then he's like, "You really think I did good, Dad?" I'm like, "I think you did amazing.
That's awesome.
You did so good." And that's just not me saying it. Like,
Yeah.
as a fan, that's me saying it. That's not Dad saying it.
Yeah.
I was like, I watch a lot of quarterbacks, and it's something obviously I have a vested interest in. And he did amazing. It was like, whoa. You know.
Was there a tipping point in tackle where maybe at the middle school level where most of the offense was more handoffs and you had to have a conversation with him where maybe stay patient through the process, it's going to get a lot more exciting?
Yeah. Actually, we kind of went through that in a backwards fashion because he's always been in a pass-happy offense from the time that it was flag football to, and then we kind of got into tackle around COVID. Mm-hmm. So we kind of gave him, the reins to be like, I don't know if you should start playing tackle yet. And then we said, we gave the green light, and then COVID came and shut everything down. And he was like, oh, I really want to play. Now he wanted it even more. Yeah. And so then he was throwing the ball. And then his holdback year, because we did the 8th grade holdback, which a lot of parents are going to consider, is it right for my kid or not? Yeah. We did that, and that holdback team, I stepped back from coaching finally. Yeah. I was like, one of the things I always thought was like, hey, I don't want him to think that Daddy needs to be there so that for his success, he needs to start kind of spreading his wings and doing his own. And so we got on a team with a coach that is just very old school, and all he did was run the ball. Okay. And although he was a starting quarterback and always the guy on this team, they didn't really have a quarterback. They just had a guy that handed the ball off. Okay. And so he hated that. Yeah. He was like, I want to throw the ball. I want to throw. And even the parents were like, what are we doing? Like, we got older kids. And so it was, I don't want to say it's a throwaway year, because your holdback year is a very important year. Coaches want to see at the college level what you do athletically and academically. They don't want you just to throw away. They want to see that you use that year to actually become, a better version of yourself. Interesting. And if you throw that year away because you're like, oh, I'm better than all the other kids because I'm just in 8th grade again, then they're going to see that and say, oh, you took your foot off the pedal. Like, it was a waste. You shouldn't have done that. And so even though I wouldn't say it's like a throwaway year, he was really kind of upset that it was more of just a hand the ball off type of a team. Yeah. And we would win. Yeah. And in Pop Warner, you have like a 28-point spread. Like, after 28 points, then you can't score again, or the coach gets fined and like the team gets fined. So we would run the ball and be up 28 points by halftime, and then he's just sitting there, and it's like, we're definitely not going to throw the ball. Right, yeah. And so he hated that, But the good thing is, not just from me not being the coach, maturing that way, he had to mature and learn, hey, if the situation is something that is not advantageous to me or I don't like, then I have to put up with it. And that's how life is. That's the thing I love about football. Yeah. It teaches you a lot about life. And so he had to learn, this is, a situation that I'm not very happy with, but how am I going to deal with adversity? Yeah. And that's what helps build you. And so I loved it. Yeah. Kind of.
What was the year when you had to walk away from being dad coach and allow him to solely be with either other coaches or other trainers?
That was it. That was the year. Yeah, because I coached him, in 2nd, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. 6th grade, we went to tackle. 7th grade, 8th grade, I also did, and then the 8th grade holdback, I stepped completely away. Okay.
Yeah. What's been the best coaching advice that you've received as a parent for Aiden?
There's so much, it's so hard to pinpoint one.
So you feel like you've been surrounded by some great coaches.
We have definitely built probably the best network of coaches that you could ever ask to be a part of. And that's something I highly recommend, is find, the right coaches. Because,
if your son wants to be a quarterback, or if you want your son to be a quarterback, when do you think the right time is to start investing in throwing lessons or private lessons?
So this is a tightrope. This is a razor thin tightrope that you have to walk, because he has to want it. You have to be capable of being able to support him because it's not cheap.
Right.
And he has to, as a young kid, have that fire. Now there's a lot, and then you also have to be realistic. Something I've always been with Aiden is realistic. So he's never been the fastest. Sometimes he hasn't been the best, and I've always been very, honest with him, and I try to be brutally honest without being brutal, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So he's, I'm like, hey, this kid was better than you today, or this kid's faster than you, or like, these are your strengths, these are your weaknesses. I think being transparent and being honest, and even as a parent, I think that's where the problem comes in. I know a lot of quarterback dads, and it's a very small community there too, and there's a lot of good ones, but there's some crazy ones out there too, and they just think their kid is just the best thing since sliced bread. Right. And it's like, no, like your kid might be 5'2", and like, unfortunately, no knock on 5'2". I know there's small, shorter quarterbacks. I'm not saying to give up your dreams, but like, like
they're giving Drew Brees a gold jacket, and he's 5'10".
Yeah,
right?
or Kyler Murray or someone like that. Like
yeah. Is it a lonely life sometimes, being a quarterback parent?
You know what? Back to the whole networking. Like, there's a small group of other quarterback dads that are just amazing. So you get to this point where at first they think, I'm in competition with you. Like, my kid's better than you.
Right.
But then the mature dads and kids start to realize, oh no, we're all in this together. Yeah. Like, you're the only person that knows the struggles I'm going through. So instead of seeing you as my enemy, you're actually my ally. And so same thing with the parents. When you get with another mature family, and there's dads and moms that I know from a long time now because we went to the same trainings. And at first you get a weird vibe, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, you're a really cool person. And like, you know what? I can't share this with anyone because it is lonely, like you said. But you actually do understand the pressures and all the stresses that come with it.
Yeah.
What's something I want to? This is something. One of the best ways to kind of put it, and this is where I kind of keep pulling back and trying to understand, what Aiden's going through as a quarterback is. We went to an Elite 11. We've been to a bunch of Elite 11s, and one of the coaches there had kitchen table talk, and that's where we sit down and kind of just discuss like just everyday stuff. And he asked all the parents in the crowd, hey, I want to try to explain to you the pressure that these kids are going through, and try to make more sense to you. He goes, where did you grow up? So I'll even ask you, like, what city did you grow up in?
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. So in Dallas, did you, at the time that you're a kid, can you tell me who the mayor of your city was at that time?
Oh gosh, 20 years ago, probably not. Yeah.
Okay, so now let me ask you another question.
Yes.
Which high school did you go to?
Plano.
And who was the quarterback of that high school?
Rhett. Forgot his last name. His first name was Rhett.
Okay, so point is, and this is, he asked all the moms in the crowd, he asked the dads.
Yes.
No one could name the mayor of their own city.
Yes.
But they all know who the quarterback was of the high school. And not only that, like, the mayor also knew who that quarterback was, but the quarterback didn't know who the mayor was. Yeah. So that was like a real eye opener for me. Like, wow, the stresses of this 16 and 17-year-old kid, where like the mayor isn't known, but everybody in the whole town knows who the quarterback is. That blew my mind, and I was like, whoa, that's a really strong point right there.
Yeah. The audience that I think we have for this episode, I think is going to be probably a few different categories. One, maybe they've got a kid that's playing an 8-year-old flag that thinks they want to play quarterback, right? Maybe they're playing middle school Pop Warner right now, and they're probably 2 years away from high school. And just like you're talking about this community, maybe there's someone watching this episode that's got a freshman quarterback, right? Thinking about competing and getting stronger and competing to be on varsity. So in all three of those audiences, right, if you could give any of them a couple pieces of advice as you're going from like, they're only 8 in its flag, and you're going to start maybe getting that tackle experience eventually, where you've got tackle experience and you're going into high school. If you give a couple of those groups any pieces of advice, what would you tell them?
I've got the most perfect advice, and if you ask any coach, any college coach, or any coach that knows what he's talking about, the best advice to give is go where you're going to play. Without experience, you got nothing. So you have to go, even if you're like, oh, there's a lot of kids that say, oh no, I got to go to Mater Dei, or I got to go to Trinity League, or I got to go to this college or that college.
Yeah.
But if you're going to sit, then you're really not developing and you're not becoming any better.
Right.
You can always move up.
Yeah.
You know, if you keep working at anything,
Yeah.
you can't just go get a job at Goldman Sachs, you know, right out of, you know, elementary school.
Right, yeah.
You're going to have to work your way up and go somewhere where you're going to get the experience, you know. So that's my best advice is like, kind of, I don't want to say lower your expectations, but just go where you're going to play. If you know you're going to play there and get developed, then great. That's awesome. But if you're going there just for the name, any coach will tell you, like, you're kind of wasting your time because there's nothing like live reps. You have to get in and actually, you know, get in the field and take some live rounds at you to really figure it out.
Yeah. With as prominent and common as travel sports are in all sports, right? Baseball, volleyball, I said. Do you think that's a universal piece of advice, almost regardless of sport?
And I think it's changed too, because back in the day, you know, you and me and everyone else, they went to the local high school and wherever you fit in or whatever team, you worked your way up. Now, I'm not saying there isn't something to be said to like, hey, stick it out and grind it and earn it.
Right.
Not saying that, but like if you really want to develop and get better, and you see a depth chart and you're fourth on the depth chart, maybe you feel that you can, but odds are if you take 100 of those situations, the kid on the fourth in the depth chart's probably not going to take the starting job. So if you really love it as much as you say you do, and you're willing to put in the time and commitment, then go get yourself, you know, a starting job, or at least being able to compete for the starting job. And you know, nowadays it's changed. There's so many kids that transfer. There's a transfer portal in college, and the rules have just changed. The landscape has changed, and there's a lot of old school coaches that have a tough time realizing that, because they're like, when I was a kid, this and that, and that's the school of thought that I came from too. But the truth is, like, you have to go where you're going to get experience in anything in life. I really think that's true.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I want to come back to a topic that you brought up. You had mentioned that junior year in high school is widely considered one of the most chaotic years for a quarterback and an athlete. You referred to it as the pressure cooker.
Yeah.
So help our audience understand, if they've got kids that are much, you know, younger than Aiden, but they're thinking about aspiring to play in that position.
Right.
I never heard that term before, but it makes total sense. So tell us what the junior year pressure cooker actually is.
So in all 4 years of high school, the one that matters, I think, the most is your junior season.
Okay.
So if you can start as a freshman, that's great.
Right.
Can you handle a team? Awesome. If you can continue to start as a sophomore, whether it's your first year or second year, can you handle the team? Have you grown? Have you become any better? But if you are not starting on a team by your junior year, your number of schools that are going to be attracted to you are going to go down significantly, because if you just jump on the scene as a senior, they'll be like, well, how come you couldn't beat the guy out as a junior? And if you are starting as a sophomore, they want to see the jump to the junior, how much that you progress and improve. And then the pressure cooker part of it is, once you are there and you've earned it and went through all those steps to finally get to where you have the keys to the car, what are you going to do with it? Like, how much production are you going to put up? It's like being in a sales environment and saying, what are your numbers? Because depending on, like, this is Aiden's junior year, and when he sees this, it's like going to be more pressure. I'm not trying to, he already knows this. We have this talk all the time, but the production that you put up this year is going to determine which college you go to. Are you going to go to, a high ranked, whether you want to go to Ivy League or, top 10 school, or are you going to go somewhere like we were just talking about, where you're just going to hopefully play and compete for the job? So, if you can't produce as a junior, like, you've earned the job, and then if you really throw up numbers nationally, he's already nationally ranked and desired right now, but, like, let's just say he leads in all those things. I can only, like, knock on wood and hope so. Then, like, he's going to be, like, national news, and, like, everyone's going to want him, more than he already is right now. So, and that goes for anyone that's in their junior year. That production you put up matters the most, because then your senior year, after you usually commit after your junior year, in this type of a situation, not everybody, so everyone's completely different. Let's make that very clear.
Yeah.
But after you commit, they don't really care what you do your senior year. Your senior year, if you've already committed, they already know. They've seen 2 to 3 years of tape on you in high school. Then they actually hope that you kind of sit a little bit and don't get hurt. And you don't have to really put up the numbers. They want it. They know what they got, and they want to preserve their asset at that point and bring it home and be like, graduate early, come to school, let's get you in the program, training, and figure out the whole process.
So basically, if you don't play well, there's pressure. But if you do play well, there's even more exposure, which brings even more pressure.
It's no matter which way you go, you're performing poorly, more pressure. Perform well, more pressure. There's no way out. It's the pressure cooker, no matter what.
So what happens when you shift from being a prospect, someone that's kind of talked about, to a target, right? You're truly touted. Everyone's aware of who you are. Talk to us about that shift.
It's a crazy process, because before you even get your first offer, and you're not discussing it, you're just hoping one day you get an offer, and then all of a sudden you get an offer, and then he had a couple of days where he had 2 offers in one day, and it's just the oxytocin that's going through. You're wow, you're on a high. Are you serious? Is this real? I can't believe it. But then the conversation shifts at home back to the kitchen table. How are you going to handle it? You morph and you evolve and you change from this kid playing Pop Warner that's never had an offer to now he has a couple offers, then he has 10 offers, now he's at 22 offers, whatever. And it's okay, let's again keep it humble, keep it grounded. You still got a team that you got to play with. You still got games you got to win. You can't look that far in the future. I think Bill Belichick says we're worried about tomorrow. Worried about tomorrow. We're focused on Carolina this week. Or we're focused on Miami this week, or whatever. It's you stay focused and grounded, because you can't. Something else his quarterback coach Dana Hernandez told me, it's awesome, is always keep the thing, which means don't get razzled and dazzled by all the bright lights and the hype and the media and this and that, because once you stop making it about football, and once the thing isn't the thing anymore, then I've seen multiple quarterbacks take on an NIL deal or this or that, and they start trying to do photo shoots and acting, and then all of a sudden they suck. And they're not even excited about football anymore, and they're not really trying anymore. They thought they were the best thing since sliced bread again, and it's you lost focus. You took your eye off the prize. So even when you get into college, it's going to be the same thing. It's just going to be at a higher level. It's going to be more intensity. And now, instead of everyone in the town knowing who you are, now ESPN's playing you on Saturday, and they're giving you interviews, and they're hanging on every little word that you say.
So how difficult is it to manage the hype versus staying focused on the high school goals, right? You're there to play and win the game. Right. So when you have conversations with Aiden, and he's still having conversations with his teammates, and he's coming off of 2 offers in one day, when you guys, it's just the 2 of you, when you're at the kitchen table, what are you guys talking about?
I'm clowning on them. And actually, I think we have a really good family. When I say we have a good network of coaches, I think our family network is very strong as well. I love his little sister Quinn. She says, "Oh, I'm Aiden Edwards. I'm the quarterback. Look at me." And we're just making fun of him. And he's taking it, and he's learned to take it. And it's just more pressure. But I got to say, man, I'm super proud of him, because he is such a good kid. One thing, the feedback that I get from almost every single person is wow, you raised a really good human. He is a good boy. And to hear that just makes me happy, because you could throw football away. I don't really care. I mean, I love football, and I keep trying to remind him, in the midst of all this, everything that we're talking about, you have an education to get, and keep that, use football as a tool and a vehicle to get a solid education. And stay, I can't stress enough just to stay grounded, because and stay focused, because, you know, don't let the noise, and this goes for everyone in anything that anyone does. It's like, forget about the noise. You have a job to do. Focus. And if you're where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, doing what you're supposed to do, then everything always ends up working out, it seems.
Yeah. Take our audience inside the dynamic between being a high school quarterback and his working relationships with positions like receivers and tight ends and running backs. Just take us inside of like what that is like.
So this is kind of a funny one, because it's such another balancing act, because you want someone that's confident and wants the ball all the time. However, that also is a balancing act, because I mean, it's like Terrell Owens. He's like, get me the ball. I love me some me.
Right,
you know what I mean? And like, you have to have confidence in order to be elite and good. However, like, you don't want so much of it that like they don't want to get you the ball, but like your success depends on their success.
Right.
So you have to be, you want to draw in talent that actually has enough confidence in themselves and they think that they're amazing.
Yeah.
But you just don't want someone that thinks that they're better than everyone else, like
Yeah.
in a negative way, in a positive way.
Yeah. But
that's a balancing act right there. So, you know, he gets calls from his friends. I'm open, I'm always open. You know, throw me the ball, and it's like, there's tape. Like, you weren't open. You know, like, you can go back and look yourself. But we have a lot of good players on our team. I think the Orange County Register just came out with the top 100 players in Orange County, and of the top 17, we have 7 of them.
Wow.
So our team is senior heavy this year, and it's like we're expecting great things. They did move us up a division, but like, you could be good on paper, but you still got to go out there and you got to do it. And now that, you know, you kind of get that hype and your head sticks above the clouds, everyone wants to chop it off. Yeah. You know, so you don't have that, like, that look where it's like you're underestimated anymore.
Yeah,
like,
either the underdog or you're being hunted.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. So new challenges and new pressures.
For our listeners, when does the process start where they get asked to go compete or join or be a part of Elite 11?
Well, so they have a camp that you can pay for at a very young age to kind of meet the coaches. And we did a lot of these camps at an early age, and they're kind of a little bit of a money grab, a lot of them. But they are also a great way to network. And so if you think about it like that, like, you can't just sign up for every single one all the time, because at that point, that's when it's a money grab. And that's what I mean by it. They're great camps and they have a lot to offer you. Yeah. But to say that you did all of them and you get like a different flavor of ice cream from all of them, you can see different perspectives, is priceless for sure. So once you get in their system, they track your hand size, your height, your weight. The following year, you know, you do it again. They're tracking, oh, Aiden, nice to see you again. You meet all these people. Yeah. And then they're like, wow, you've grown a lot. Wow, you can throw farther. You can run faster. Your hand is bigger. Like, all these different things. Then you start getting on the radar of everybody. And then they start asking you to come back. So you can't really compete in the official Elite 11 until you're going into your senior year. So,
Yeah. So they have camps that you can attend.
Right.
But the true competition is senior year.
And there are some invites that you get, you know, for the regionals and these different things, but you can't move on. You can go there and compete with them, but they're only going to select, you know, incoming seniors to go to the Open in Oregon and to actually compete.
Is Southern California the deepest pool of talent for quarterbacks in the country?
I mean, I would say for the class of 28, it definitely is. We have an amazing class of 28. There's 3 states that stand out the most: Florida, Texas, and California. And that's where all the quarterbacks come from. And if you look, the majority come from California, and the majority come from Southern California too. So, kind of going back to speaking to parents about competition and is my kid, to be, you know, honest with yourself. There's so much competition. There's not just at the quarterback level. It's not even just in football, but it's everything. In basketball. It's in baseball. It's insane, because we have the best weather, and so you can practice year round. So you can consistently get better. Then you have parents that have, you know, they can afford it, and they have the time, and they're actually all about it too. So when you mix all those things together, and then you have the best schools and the best coaching around here, you mix all that together, it just makes for, we're going to have the best talent here.
Do you believe in a quarterback, with that being his primary sport and position, being a multi-sport athlete, and if so, for how long?
So we've been to, like I said, a ton of these QB Universe, Jordan Palmer, all of them say the same thing. It's like, I think it's somewhere around 75 to 80% of kids that get recruited into college are dual sport athletes.
Wow.
Now, if you go to a lot of the high schools around here, they want you to focus on one. And here, it used to be where you couldn't train year round. It used to be when we were kids, you take a season off, you jump to the next sport. Now they have training to, like, if you want to get good. So with Aiden, I wanted him to play basketball. I did football, basketball, and track, and I wanted him to do at least basketball because he's 6'4", and he's growing still. So he would be, and he's good at basketball. However, he got to a point where he finally said, "Hey, Dad, I don't want to play basketball anymore." And this was his freshman year of high school. And I go, "Oh, really? I thought for sure you'd play." And he's like, "No, I want to do quarterback training full time now." And I said, "Okay, like if that's what you want." Again, I can't be the one that wants it for him, even though I would prefer. He was a dual sport athlete. Now, last year he joined the golf team, so I mean technically he's dual sport, but like he's just golfing now, which I love. But it's kind of, at this point, it's more like, you know, he's doing something to kind of take his mind off of the constant, training and all that stuff. And it's like, for a couple months of the year, and he still does football during those
no
months.
Impact, super fun.
So
time with his dad.
Not going to probably get injured or anything like that. But I encourage the dual sport athlete, and they definitely translate and they complement each other. The different sports for sure.
So everyone knows, or at least they've heard about, what the transfer portal has done to college. But in super competitive areas like Southern California, et cetera, what do you think is going to happen over the next, call it 4 to 5 years, about really, really talented athletes transferring from one high school to another?
Well, in college, they just changed the rule this year, too. I don't know if you know that, too. That now you only, in college, before I answer your question, you can only transfer one time, and they give you 5 years of eligibility, and they remove the red shirt.
Okay.
So now I think the transfer portal, it was really taking away a lot of jobs from high school kids. And now my feeling is you get that one transfer. I think they should change the rule, though, to be where you can transfer if your coach leaves. Because if you get recruited by a coach, and then you are going to use your transfer, and then the coach leaves, it's like, well, you should be granted.
That's not what I signed up for.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. Now, in high school, it's been happening already. And no matter how it happens, if it's wrong, if it's right, people moving, addresses, you have to have a VCR, a valid change of residency is what they call it at CIF. And so they want to make sure that, your voter records, your driver's license, your utility bills, your leases, like they have a full-on package. And it's become such a business because there's big schools that have been, like modern day. Every year they have like 30 to 50 transfers. Well, how did that many people move? And then there's Bishop Montgomery that just got hurt big time because the guy came out last year and said he spent $50,000 per kid to transfer them in, and then they got popped, and then they lost the whole season. So, CIF is cracking down on that, and they are making sure that people really are moving and have a valid change of residency. However, going into high school, you get to choose before. It makes it a lot easier to say, hey, I'm starting off at this school. Once you leave a school, then it's a little bit more difficult. But I think there's going to continue, especially in the private school. You still have to move, but you can move next door. And then you can go to any other school. You can go to Mater Dei, move next door, and then go to J. Sarah or whatever. I think those parents can afford it, and they'll say, screw it. We'll take care of it. Don't worry. So in that arena, you're still going to see a lot of it happen. It's just too competitive. And it's just, there's the population's too big and there's too many people playing high school sports.
When did Aiden start on varsity?
As a freshman.
Okay.
At Tustin.
Wow.
Yeah. So he played one game at Mater Dei,
Mm-hmm.
and then I moved to Tustin,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like he had an opportunity at that time
Mm-hmm.
to. Their starting quarterback was a guy from J. Sarah,
Hmm.
Michael Tollefson, or
Okay.
Butter,
Butter.
what they call him.
Yeah.
And he didn't get approved an hour before the game on that Friday, or 3 hours before the game, something like that. Yeah. And it had nothing to do with his residency, but he had played for Trillion Boys, which is an outfit that the defensive coordinator had coached previous to that. So they seen it as a recruitment violation.
Interesting.
So they said he doesn't even have the option to sit 5 games, which is if you don't have a change of residency, you can just go to a different school and sit 5 games.
Yeah.
But they said he's not able to play at all.
Wow.
So when we found that out and I was moving, it was just all the stars aligned, and I was like, well, here's a chance.
Yeah.
And it looked like he wanted to go there initially because he knew Butter, and he said he's going to get varsity reps.
Yeah.
But and Mater Dei had him on the JV team. So he played for Centennial week 1, beat Centennial on the JV level, which again doesn't get you any varsity tape. But then when he went there, he had already had like 5 offers even before he was on varsity. And after he played varsity, then they just started skyrocketing from there.
So to play at the D1 level, how crucial is varsity tape and as many years of varsity tape as possible?
It's everything. It's this is why I say go where you're going to play, because you could be the best at your position, but if you're a junior playing JV or a sophomore playing JV, or even if you're a junior on the team, but there is a senior that is winning the job over you, they're going to say, well, why aren't you better than him? And, he was obviously better than you because per your own coaches, they wouldn't even play you. So it's a crazy whole process to go through. And there's so many different angles and so many different things to think about. And you're living through it, and you're talking about your life because you're spending all this time, and then your child's life, which you care so dearly about, and you want to protect them and provide for them the best you can, and do the best job that you can. But it's not really easy to navigate. That's why I think having this show and just talking about it is something that a lot of people will just be interested in, really, because everyone loves their kids. Everyone wants to do anything they can for their children.
Well, I mean, I always struggle, and you and I have talked about this a bunch, like, where do you draw the line between challenging them, right, and loving them, right? Because you want to push them, right? You want to. I always say to my boys when we practice, my job is to get you as comfortable and prepared as possible, and then whatever happens, happens. But if I can give you more reps, or if I can help you be more mentally tough during a bad inning pitched, or an 0-4 weekend, right? That's really where I feel like my job is. Speaking of mental strength, I can only imagine the mental strength starting on varsity as a freshman probably took, and that was 2 years ago. Are there certain things that you see Aiden do now as a young man that you feel like you kind of saw him do even at like the Pop Warner level, like his early tackle years?
I got to give him so much credit, because starting just the first time I remember I played varsity, and I played varsity as a sophomore. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. But he went from, it's one of those classic examples of big fish small pond and little fish big pond kind of thing, because it's the bright lights and everything of just like, to them at least in Pop Warner, when there's like first playing tackle, and then all of a sudden when they get to playing on high school, at least he got one JV game under his belt, and then the very next week then he's playing, well, he actually had to sit a week, but like wait for the clearance of CIF, but then sitting under the lights on Friday night, he handled it so well, and I was like, whoa, like I don't know that I could have done as good of a job as he did. And so now you've seen a kid that is just like, do you belong to be here? You deserve to be here. I mean, and okay, he's handling the team. He's actually throwing touchdowns. He's learning from his mistakes. He's helping win a lot of these games. To now, like last year, where he was a leader on the team, and he was actually, a driving force. And now this year, like he's like there's a lot of leaders on the team because, like I said, there's a lot of good players and there's a lot of good families on the team too. And I feel so blessed and thankful that we get the opportunity to be a part of it. But now he's really grown. His coach was like, I can't believe it. Every single year after year, he's maturing and becoming, a better version of himself. And back to your original question, I think it's cliche, but it's a journey, not a destination. You're always going to pressure them. You're always going to try to push them. Yeah. But you also need to know, like, if you had a bad day, like, I'm going to back off a little bit and be there, not to comfort you because, like, that's not going to get you anywhere either. But like, at least to know that I'm not here to beat you up. You've already gotten beat up out on the field. Right. I don't need to, like, pile on or anything like that. But it gets to be. And then here's another thing I kind of always trip out on is, and I tell my wife this, is like, they are your kids, and you feel like, and you are so responsible for them, obviously, until they move on. But I mean, look at your parents. I mean, like, and anyone's parents, you eventually move on, become your own individual, and you're not, under their watchful eye or care. Now, they always love you. They'll always be there to support you. Right. However, they got to do it on their own at a certain point, and just being appreciative and having, a lot of thanks and appreciation that that you put them in a position to where they can handle that themselves. Yeah. And then you can look back and just, just watch what they're doing and just go, wow, like, I feel lucky to know you. Like, I feel like, although I'm Aiden's dad, I'm his friend, a mentor, a counselor, although sometimes he doesn't want any of that, you know what I mean? And a lot of times it's just, you're just to be his dad, like, hey, and sometimes it's just another guy, but I'm always going to be his dad. Yeah. Nothing's going to ever take that away. And I feel that's a privilege. And hopefully he feels it's a privilege that I'm his father as well, because I think everything in life you need gratitude and appreciation for.
For sure. I want to end our time with doing like a rapid fire of questions. I'll try to hit you with a question and see if you can do one sentence, maybe two, if you can. So, what's one thing no one prepares you for being the parent of a quarterback?
One thing no one prepared me for being the parent of a quarterback, I would say, is all of it. that's probably it's all of it. There's
logistics, expenses, time.
Expenses for sure.
Okay.
Time, you put in all your time. You give up your weekends. Yeah. I kind of knew a lot of this going in though, but then it's just like, whoa, like, oh man, it's just, and the politics. Actually, the best one is, and we didn't really talk about it, the politics. There's a lot of politics that goes into to playing the quarterback role and being a parent. And I hate that part of it, and I try to stay out of it, although we did talk about go where you have the best opportunity. So really, they kind of go hand in hand.
For sure. Defining success beyond the field. I know we're talking about academics, life, character, etc. But what's one thing that Aiden will succeed at beyond football?
Being a good human. And that's the biggest thing for me. I just care that I raise good human beings and that they're good people. And like I said, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, and be where you're supposed to be, everything will work itself out. Okay. He'll find success, no matter if he doesn't play football anymore. But as long as he's a good human and he does the right thing, has good moral standards and judgment, then he's going to be okay, and I'm going to be proud of him no matter what.
What's one lesson that you think Aiden had to earn the hard way that he's grateful for?
He's still learning it, and he's grateful because we talk about it, is patience and emotions. Managing your patience and your emotions, because again, football is a game of life, and it throws so many things at you. You can throw an interception, you can have a great play, you have these highs and these lows, but managing your emotions throughout anything is the tough thing, because you can't let the highs be too high and the lows be too low. You have to kind of find that even keel where you're, riding that middle of the line, the kind of Goldilocks, right in the middle. Not too hot, not too cold type of thing. But your emotions can always affect the next decision that you make. So you have to remember next play. It's
Yeah.
always, who cares about the last play? What's the next play?
Okay.
And don't let the last play affect your next play. And those emotions are a huge part of that, and probably the biggest part of it, because if you're going to sit around and complain about something in life,
Yeah.
or piss and moan,
Yeah.
or just be ungrateful, then you just squandered your next opportunity.
Yeah.
And why? You didn't have to do that. You were in
Short-term
control of
memory.
that.
Yeah.
Only worry about the things that you're in control
Yeah.
of.
Final question. You've watched your son play a lot of football. I know he's got so many more plays that will be your favorites ahead of him. But what is one of your favorite plays you've ever watched Aiden do playing quarterback?
I'm surprised you weren't going to ask me something about SMU. I thought that was going to be your final.
The second to last question. The second to last. All right.
And there's also one thing I want to share
Yeah.
with you guys before we go too. But there was a couple different plays, and I want to share a couple different ones because they were at different levels. One was when he first started tackle, and I was coaching, and there was another quarterback, and his dad was coaching on the other side, and the head coach was letting me control this offense and him control that offense, and we were kind of going against the two different defenses.
Yeah.
But there was a time that we were calling plays and marching down the field, and he was in 6th grade, and Aiden was getting all these guys around him, and they're like, "Oh wow, he's our quarterback," They're like, you're feeling the vibe, and like it's kind of getting exciting. And we're going down, and I call a play, and he tosses one down the middle, and it's a touchdown. He turns to the kid and goes, "See, I told you my dad had the best plays." See that? So that was a really cool experience, but that was only in 6th grade.
Okay.
And then so the next one was, we were playing Villa Park, at Villa Park. We're down by 5 points, and there's 2 minutes to go. Aiden gets the ball, drives them 80 yards, and he throws an amazing, I would say 30, maybe 35-yard pass. I mean, he launches the ball into the end zone, and the receiver goes up with one hand, catches it, falls down. An amazing catch. It was so great of a catch.
Yeah.
And he caught it, and we ended up winning the game.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, what a great play. And he's had so many good plays, but these are two of the ones that like really stand out to me. Him as a little boy, and then him like kind of growing up and like winning a game in front of everybody. So there was really some special times. I got so many more that I could go through though too.
So for our next episode, we're going to share, after you take your follow-up trip to SMU with me and Aiden.
We're going. Yes, we're definitely going to go. We're going to go watch a game. And I personally love SMU as a possibility for him. Again, going back to education, I wanted to get in that Cox Business School. That would be so great. I got another text just right before I came in at a different school, so it's not SMU, but I want to share it though, because I was just like, this is something that I go through, but I'll just tell you, what just happened today. Yeah. Just got this text. Stanford just sends this text. Yeah. And it's like, "Good morning, Edwards family. We hope you all have had an incredible summer. I'm Dejon Owens, new assistant director of recruiting here at Stanford. I've added head coach Pritchard, general manager Andrew Luck, quarterbacks coach Lynn Green, director of recruiting Albert Garcia, and assistant recruiting director Jordan Watkins. There's only one place in the world where you can earn the best degree while playing P4 football. Welcome to the best of both worlds. I'm looking forward to getting to know your family and being part of this journey with you." I mean, wow. Just a little while ago, I'm on a text there with Andrew Luck. So I'm just like, that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just different, you know what I mean? And it's enjoying the process. You know, that's the key to everything in life. Enjoy the process. I think it's key.
But what I've heard today is you and Aiden, your son, you guys have been working on managing emotions and staying humble since he was playing flag. You know, that's been a part of you just raising him, as his dad. And so as all this immense success, and there's only going to be more immense success for Aiden. Right. He's such a great guy. He's such a great athlete. It just sounds like it all started with you guys together, just managing emotions, staying humble, and working hard.
1,000%. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Well, you're one of my best friends. I love you. Thank you so
Chase.
much
I love you too, my
for
man.
coming on the show. And
My pleasure.
tune in. See you, brother.